Today we're going to talk about how pop culture and misleading headlines can really come back to bite you when it comes to animal wounds.
I love the pun, come back to bite you, because we're talking about snake bites. Real quick, you get bit by a snake. What's the first thing you do? Is it
suck out the venom?
No, it's not. What about putting a tourniquet on and covering with ice?
Oh, that sounds good too.
Both of those are really bad ideas. And if you do those, well, you don't know how to treat a snake bite. What you should do is get to a hospital immediately. Some snake bites can take hours for the effects to really sink in. Again, snake bite. But most of the time, you start to experience symptoms within 30 minutes. Yes. Lauren, do you know what those symptoms are?
Symptoms could be nausea, vomiting, increased heart rate,
blistering, redness, inflammation, severe pain, inability to stop bleeding. There are a ton of paralysis. You could have necrosis, which is the destruction of cells and tissue. There are so many things that can happen from a snake bite.
Ooh, what's that saying?
Time is tissue.
Yes, time is tissue. So the more time you take to get to a hospital after a snake bite, the more tissue you will lose.
Yeah, and I don't really know where the idea of sucking venom out using your mouth, like, why would you get bit, right? And now there's venom in your arm. Why would you want to put your mouth on that?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a good idea.
No, just don't do it.
What can happen is the bacteria from your mouth and any type of debris, when you put it on that snake bite, you can infect the wound, and make it worse than it really is.
I have an example. I was recently stung by a bee.
Ooh, yeah.
And didn't feel when I got stung, so I left the stinger in there for a good 36 hours.
Who doesn't feel when they get stung?
I don't know, because I think I sat on it when I sat on a plate of marshmallows. It was dark. It was by a campfire. You're supposed to take the stinger out within like 30 seconds of getting stung. So like multiply that by like a lot. That was me. And then I went to like a river and I sat on a raft and it got really infected because all those
dank river water.
All those other like bacteria filled things were touching it while I was out camping in the woods. And it got real bad.
What did you end up having?
An abscess. She
had a staph infection, Staphylococcus aureus, to be exact. That's what the culture came back as.
Yes.
And staph infections can be really serious. She almost needed surgery. That's what the doctor at her
it was at the walk-in, actually.
The walk-in. I couldn't remember if it was a walk-in or primary. But the doctor said that she may need surgery from a bee sting. And this is someone who's not even allergic, just doesn't know how to take care of bee stings.
I didn't know I got stung. But the point is, you should really just seek medical, professional help when something like this happens. Because if you try to deal with it on your own, chances are your spouse-to-be will make fun of you for it, and you'll avoid the doctor for longer than you should.
Yeah, you don't want everybody staring at your butt.
I got stung on the butt.
Yeah.
FYI. I couldn't sit for like 5 days.
Just every day laying on her stomach. It was a little funny, but then I started getting worse. I'm like, oh, it's actually not funny anymore.
Yeah, it's actually kind of serious. But now
it's back to funny. It was like a pendulum. It was funny and then swung to not funny. And now it's all the way back to being very funny.
Yeah, so the idea of sucking the venom out of your wounds or like peeing on a jellyfish sting,
which we'll get to.
A lot of those came from misplaced pop culture references or like Rambo-esque movies, right? Like a real tough guy in the woods doesn't have time to deal with getting bit by a venomous snake, so he just sucks and spits out the venom and just keeps going after the bad guy type of thing. Like, that's not how that works. But that stuff has stayed with society for like a really long time.
Yeah.
Hence the Friends episode for the jellyfish.
Yeah, Monica gets stung by a jellyfish, and so Joey elects to pee on it, and it takes the pain away.
In the episode.
In the episode, right. Yes. That's not, no, it actually does not make it go away in real life.
In fact, if there's some funky stuff in that person's pee, it could actually make it worse.
Yes. What do people do? They use a credit card to try to slide the stinger cells out. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. You might actually...
all you do is spread it. People use seawater. Again, all it does is spread it. What you should do is use vinegar, because vinegar will deactivate the stinger cells, and you can use tweezers to pluck them out.
Yes.
So it still might suck using the tweezers to pull the stingers out. I don't know. I've never been stung.
Yes, but you no matter what the animal bite wound is, you want to avoid doing things that will increase the amount of venom released in you.
Like a bee sting. Don't squeeze it.
Don't squeeze it, and try not to use tweezers to take it out, because squeezing the stinger could release more venom. Also, if you get bit by a snake, maybe don't go try and catching the snake that bit you, because if you get stung or you get bit again, you're just gonna get more venom. So, unless you could easily kill the snake to bring it into the doctor to identify the snake for the right venom.
Right, anti-venom.
Anti-venom, right? But
even then, running around trying to catch a snake, kill it, all that kind of stuff, that's going to be movement, and it's going to raise your blood pressure.
Yes,
you're going to get excited,
rate.
Your adrenaline's going to go up, and as your heart rate increases, it's going to spread the venom faster because your body is pushing that blood throughout your body faster. So you may want to avoid it. As Nate Bargatze said, there's a huge difference between 1 and 30 bites.
And if you haven't seen that skit, you should watch it.
Yes. So what do we have to summarize? Don't try to suck the venom out. Don't put your mouth on it. Don't cover with a what are those things
tourniquet.
called? Tourniquet and ice. Cutting off blood supply can make it worse. And get medical attention. If you are someone who likes to hike, you like to go on crazy adventures and be out in the wilderness, you really should take a wilderness first aid or wilderness survival course. You never know when something like that might happen. There was an article, it was I think an ABC or NBC article, that was extremely misleading. It said that mother sucks venom out of child and saves his life, or something to that effect. But if you click the article, the first paragraph says that doctors and experts recommend against this practice.
Yes, she was also pregnant at the time, so it could have affected her and the baby. And then you go on to read that her sucking the venom out actually had nothing to do with saving the boy's life.
It likely had nothing to do with it, and taking him to the hospital where he got treated was the likely most productive action.
Yeah, so the headline, while it was meant for clickbait, really was misleading, and again perpetuates this misconception of sucking the venom out.
Yeah, imagine you're just at work and you're watching videos, you're just scrolling through the news, and you're just
instead of working.
Yeah, instead of work, it's like, who's gonna do that? You just browsing whatever news site, and it says woman sucks venom out of child, saves life. What are you gonna think? Oh, next time someone gets a fucking snake bite, I know what to do. I'm gonna suck that bad boy clean. I'm gonna suck them. Wait, what?
We asked some of our friends and family what they would do if they got bit by a snake, and one person's response was, I mean, obviously you're gonna suck the venom out, but I'm not gonna be an idiot and swallow it. And we're like, no, but you don't even do that. But see, it is such an ingrained myth in us that we think obviously that's what you do.
And that's what we're here to do, is help debunk and dispel myths, misconceptions, and pseudoscience that we find online and in other, media.
So I hope you enjoyed this little highlight from our podcast episode last week.
You don't get to do that.
I won't.
That's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this video, found it informative, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and especially share it. Sharing is the biggest way you can help us spread this good science to even more people.
Thanks again for listening, guys.
Later, nerds.
Later, gators.